sorry. I'm always like,
All right, fellas, we're live. we
welcome, welcome.
started it off with a big old toothy grin from Ty over there. Welcome to episode 2 of the AD Unlimited podcast. I am TC, also known as the Free Range Chicken, as well as my real name, Nate. Joining me as always is Big Aller 16, aka Ty, and Andrew, also known as Who Day All Day 88. So
Let's get into it, baby.
now we were really concerned coming into yesterday what exactly we were going to talk about. You know,
We
we
were.
uh, we were all
Yeah.
sitting there waited with bated breath. You know, we're like, oh, AJ's typing, she's typing, and then it came out and it was kind of quick and soft, and we're like, that's it. I think, at least for me, I thought something was coming, but not exactly expecting a full rollout as they did. So it kind of came out of nowhere. It kind of came quick. What have you guys seen so far? Andrew, let's start with you. What have you seen from this marketplace change?
I mean, honestly, I've only taken, maybe 20, 30 minutes to look at it, but I like the look of it, the function of it. mm, you know, a lot to be desired from that. Just used to be what, 2, 3 clicks, you can get a moment. Now it's 5 or 7, or I've
Yeah.
heard varying different numbers. Then, your serials are no longer listed best for the dollar value down to worst of that dollar value. You kind of have to now search. So if you're looking at a wall of, Josh Jacobs for whatever reason, if you're trying to buy some more of that, you aren't just going to get the best serial on that first moment anymore. You're going to have to scroll through, 15, 20 different moments to try to find that moment you're just looking for.
Right.
So it's got some good points and it's got some bad, but I'll give it more than 5 hours before I give it like a full grade.
That's fair. Ty, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so I got about 2 hours to like really look into it, and just a couple of points that I had was now it takes 5 clicks to like buy a moment when in the old one it took 3. So I was very confused why we went backwards, because in my mind, um, if you're going to make something better, you don't make it harder to get, right? So like now I have to click my mouse 5 times, which is like, sure, maybe I'm lazy, but like in the like I love the I love just being able to do 3 clicks, bam, I have the moment, right? And now with this new system, I don't really have that. I have to do it 5 times, so it's not really that's not that's not a like improvement for me. But I do like the look of it. It looks slim. It looks sleek, right? But the badges, right? I don't like the badges, right? There are some that I do like, but the number one badge looks like a 11. So I was like,
Yeah.
well, this like I don't feel good by having this badge right next to my one cereal. I don't have one cereal, but I'm talking about in the future I probably will.
Right.
But in the jersey badge, I was literally like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, they didn't make a jersey badge." And I was like, wait, this is the jersey badge? Because
Yeah.
I was so confused. And I was like, this doesn't really look like a jersey.
No,
So, I mean,
I don't even know how it relates to a jersey. Just doesn't
I,
Yeah.
doesn't at
I
all.
was so I know I legit looked at all the badges and it's like they didn't make a jersey badge, and so like I should never have that question, right? I should know exactly. Oh, this is a jersey badge, right? That,
Yeah.
that means that this is a jersey card.
Sure.
But I mean, with that said, it's huge. It's huge that they made this improvement, just because I hope that this now it gives them a chance to like focus
Right.
on like other things, not just like the marketplace upgrade, because I
Right.
know that that was probably taking a lot of their time, and because you have to do the badges, right? I love like the outline of the that's very smart to do the outline if it's a rare ultimate and things like that. I love that, but for the most part. I don't like the badges. It takes too long to buy a moment, and they got rid of the eyes, right?
Yeah,
So
the
like
eyeballs.
you can't even see if someone's on a moment.
Right.
I love that, right? Because
Yeah.
during like a challenge, I'm not gonna go for the ones that already have the eyes. I'm
Yeah.
scrolling all the way like a little bit down, right? I'm gonna give you all a secret sauce. So I scroll a little
Yeah.
bit down during a
Yeah.
challenge. I get one that's like $3 or $4
Yeah.
from the floor, and then that way, like, but I don't know who's on it anymore. So like, I don't like I don't like that they got rid of the eyes, but
Sure.
that is what I think about it. I
I
think that overall it's going to be good in the long term, but for now, I just got to get more used to it, and I just really would like those badges changed, to be honest, and
well, you know, for
those changes implemented.
okay,
You go ahead.
so for me, like I spent more time, kind of watching the sentiment around these changes more than I went and explored them myself. Especially since,
Yeah,
I was out of cell phone service for most of the day. So when I did get it, I could take what I could get. And like I couldn't load a web page, but I might have a couple of pages of ADU talk to, or
yeah,
the closed beta general that I could scroll through and kind of get an idea of what I was going into before I did. And I think that the big thing that stuck out to me was that you know, I and Trav Daddy in the ADU chat had mentioned it this morning that this was likely going to be their move off of the Gaia platform and onto their own marketplace, which
yeah,
taken in that context, I think the steps backwards make more sense because if you're taking an established marketplace like the one that they were using, some of these features might be proprietary to their service, like the eyeballs. So they may have to come up with another way to reincorporate that. But when they take a step back of something that they paid somebody else to do, they go into it on their own. They're basically trying to rebuild what they already had in their own image. So in doing so, I think there's going to be some hiccups as they figure out how to get back to that functionality, but underneath their own umbrella to where they're in control of it, and then they can react more efficiently and more effectively to the complaints and the inefficiencies and ineffectivenesses that they have within the system currently. So it was an upgrade for them, although it was a downgrade for us. But as far as as an initial run on something that they're doing themselves, I think they're doing okay with it. Like I liked some of the color choices. Some of the pages are a little busy. There's maybe too many colors on some of the moment pages, like when they're going through burned and unavailable and in circulation and owned and all that other stuff. There's just a lot of colors going on there, and it can be a little busy in that regard. But when I actually got to the marketplace page and I was scrolling through some of the listings and stuff, and if you did just a general search, I do like that they added outlines for, or at least unique outlines for the rare and the legendary moments, that they were easily identified as such. You know, I have a little nitpicky things on it, like I think the line can be a little thicker so that it stands out even more, but that's just nitpicky stuff. The major thing that I want to see gone, and this was the bane of my existence on Top Shot, and it's currently the bane of my existence as far as the marketplace as it stands today, the load more button. You only get to look at like 10 moments before you got to click and wait for it to load.
Yeah.
At least with the
yeah,
other thing, you could scroll through like 20 or 30 and then it would auto load because it's like, oh, you're at the bottom of the page. Load them
yeah.
up. What do I got to tell
Yeah.
you for? Just do it. You know what I mean? Be ahead of the game. I'm here. I want to look at more. But I think those things are all going to come as time goes on. I mean,
Yeah.
as far as a fresh rollout of their own marketplace, I kind of think it went pretty well, all things considered. So
True. I did notice that some of the filters weren't working properly. Like immediately
Yeah.
when I saw like, oh, you can filter by jersey number or number one, I was like, well, let me try it just to see what's out there. And then literally nothing would pop
It,
up.
it wouldn't
yep,
work.
And
yep,
then apparently the all day debut was only showing like rookies or something like that for a minute from what I saw. I know somebody had posted that in the ADU chat. So I mean, it'd be nice if they would have tested that, because I feel like that would have been something easily caught. Like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, one
I
hundred
tried to search
percent.
for I tried to search for this and it didn't pop up. Figure out why
Well,
this
Yeah,
isn't working.
I guess, like my question, and I was thinking about that too, because there was some chat of that this afternoon in ADU. And, the way I look at it is like, how could they have tested that without fully rolling out a marketplace? Like, could they have come up with like a dummy site that, you give access to a control group to see how it works? Or is their only option to go live and have your fingers crossed and see what screws up? I mean, I'm not familiar enough with that sort of space to know if that's, a legit option that they can even do as far as testing goes. Like, can they actually test this somehow and still have the real marketplace feel? That was my big question. How do you test it without making it go live?
exactly. And I mean, that would be that would probably be a question for for someone who knows like all
All
about
right.
coding and things like that. But I'm not too sure. But I do know that a lot of people um, brought up brought up the fact of like did they like test out these badges with like with like the community before they put it out there. Do you guys think that they should have like ran it by some people before they put it out there, or just do them in that
Yeah.
aspect kind of
I
thing?
mean, I feel like that would have been something easily done in like a focus group type of thing.
Yeah.
Like grab 100 people. Like, hey, the first 100 people that react to this post are going to get a chance to help us out.
Right.
And then they just create a side little Discord and be like, okay, these are the badges we're looking at. Set 1, set 2, set 3, set 4.
Yeah.
Which one do you like the best? That type of thing.
Yeah,
Couldn't
I think that would have
really wouldn't have taken that much time.
that would have been the smart thing to do. I mean, especially since, we do, there are groups, plenty of them out there willing to be guinea pigs for that. It's like, okay, here's our ideas for the badges. What do you think now? So, I mean, maybe they did do that. Maybe they got good feedback on these. I'm not sure.
yeah,
I mean, and
I
especially,
find it hard to believe, but maybe.
yeah, I mean, it would have been a pretty easy thing. The functionality of it, I can see being much more difficult to test and much more difficult to actually do a little bit of, you know, market testing on to see how they go. But something like the badges would have been nice to throw out there and, say,
yeah,
okay, so, if you survey 100 people and 45 of them like whatever badge you showed them, say this is what we're going with. Do you like this one, this one, this one? You've got a control group of 100 people that tell you
exactly.
exactly what they think. Oh, we're under 50%. Maybe we need to redo this.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I am reading the chat, and Daniel Flanagan, he said that the badges are too small. Do you think that the badges are too small? I mean, I do see like where he's coming from now. I didn't at first, but once you click on the moment, the badges do seem like they're a bit small. Um, but like, do you guys think that the badges are small, or do you think that
I mean,
like the size is fine?
I've only looked at it on mobile, so I feel like on mobile everything's going to seem a little bit smaller than it probably is intended to look.
Yeah,
So I can't really comment on that, but I really wouldn't be surprised if it was, probably a little sizing issue that could just be taken care of.
I mean,
now,
yeah, it could be, and
go
I'm,
ahead.
I'm in the same boat. Like I'm mobile all the time, so the badges are small to me anyway. I
Yeah,
rarely have the opportunity to even step on to the desktop, and when I am, when I do actually get to my laptop, that means I'm usually unconscious about 10 minutes later. So,
No.
so I'm on mobile most of the time.
No, would you? So I know that Top Shot has this thing where if it's his rookie year, rookie badge, or Top Shot debut, it's like a 3-star kind of thing, right?
Hmm.
All Day doesn't have that yet. Do you think that they should like have that here, or like should they just like leave it the way it is to where it's just like a 3 badge, right? So I think the rookies on Top Shot they have like just one badge, but like it's like a 3 star. It's like it's their rookie year or something like that. You know,
I,
You know what I'm talking about?
I do. They did a real good job on the Top Shot side of incorporating contrasting colors so that they do stand out a little bit more. I know a lot of them are those, the pink, blue, yellow
Yeah.
kind of hot colors that really do kind of stand out. And they kind of went that way a little bit here, but, you know, being that the Top Shot ones are a little bit more solid, these ones they're a little bit more linear, a little bit more you could see through them
Yeah.
basically, you know what I mean? So I think that in a small situation, the fact that they're not, you know, block of solid art as the Top Shot ones or even the old All Day ones were, they're still you're seeing through them adds a little bit of clutter. It adds a little bit of distraction to your eyes, so you have to look a little closer to see what it is. So when you take something like the number one badge or whatever, like, good idea, but like I really had to squint to see what that was. Like,
Yeah.
what's going
Yeah.
on there? So
Like 11? 11?
yeah,
Yeah. If you would
yeah,
have told me it's the number 11, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I can see it.
yeah. I'm still just baffled by the jersey number one. I don't see any way to associate that with a jersey number.
It's like one of those old, like, futuristic jerseys that the Mariners wore back in, like, what was that, like the late 90s or whatever. It's like Tron looking.
That's true.
No, it seems like so like I was searching the marketplace and I was trying to see like recent purchases because you can see that now. You can see like exactly who bought it, and that page looks exactly like Top Shot, right?
Mhm.
And
It was real similar to Top Shot. That kind of disappointed me. I wanted them to be a little bit more.
All day.
I've got Top Shot PTSD at this point, so I don't want to think about Top Shot if I don't have to.
Yeah. But I didn't. I thought it was a bad idea. I mean, I don't know if it's like the same code or what, but it looks like the same font, the same vibe, right? That like Top Shot has, and although I've never been in Top Shot, but for looking from the outside in, right? It just um it did. I haven't wanted to get like into Top Shot, so just like trying to make them look the same. Just I don't think like it's a good idea. I think that All Day needs to stay All Day, and then a Top Shot needs to stay Top Shot. They need to have their own fonts, have their own a little vibe going on. Just because you don't want a to be what's it called like a collateral damage if one doesn't work, right? So
Right.
if one doesn't work, I don't like you don't want the other one not working, kind of thing.
Okay, so on that note, we have a question from our friend Brett Schultz, otherwise known as Bestie from the ADU group we're all part of. His question is, which new badge is your favorite, and which one needs the most work? What do you think, Andrew?
Wait,
My favorite, honestly, I couldn't even pick a favorite. In my opinion, they all kind of need some changes. Like the All Day debut, it's a helmet with an arrow going through it. Like, okay,
Yeah.
what's that really? Are we all Chiefs fans now? Like, whatever. I think they all need some big upgrades, but I guess the championship one's not terrible.
Okay. What about you, Ty?
TC, how about you?
Well,
All right.
go ahead. You go first. You go first.
All right. My favorite one, it's either the rookie or the rookie mint. I like just like the star. I don't know what. I think it's the rookie mint. That's the star. Um, Give me one moment because I think best T. I'm going to your Twitter because I know that you tweeted it out. Let me see.
Is there a page where I can just look at all of them?
Yeah.
Was it on the blog? Maybe.
I know that. I know that
Yeah, I think
Bestie
it's on the
tweeted
blog.
it out. Yeah, it is the rookie mint, which is the star, right? I love that one. That was really dope. I don't like my least favorite is gonna be the all day debut. Makes no sense to me. It, I I'm looking at it and I'm like, are we a target? Are we like, what are we doing? Right? I see that it's a football helmet,
Yeah.
but what does this mean? Like
Right.
it doesn't make sense, right? So like I can get like okay, first cereal, it looks like a one if you turn your head this way and close your eyes,
Yeah.
and then like the championship year, you can obviously see that that's a trophy. The player number, it looks like a jersey kind of, but the all day debut, which is like arguably the most important because that's just your all day debut. Just makes no sense to me. I just don't like it, and I would love that changed.
Yeah. For me, I think the which one is I finally found him here? I think the rookie year, the R, is the absolute standout. Like it's
Yeah,
simple, you know what it means. It looks good, the color pops. Like to me that's the standout. I'd actually like the number one cereal if they just followed that lead of the rookie year one, closed off the top, and took the left vertical post and just close that whole thing off.
yeah,
Yeah.
Just make it a legit number one. I just feel like they overthought that one a little bit, but that one's
yeah.
very. I think that one's really close to being good if they just made that little small change.
Wait, I
Um,
think that's a goalpost. I did not know that. Like the first cereal, is that a goalpost? Like like
it
the
better
one.
not. It better not be. It's just
It
like,
looks like a goalpost if
Now
you
they're
turn your head this
yeah.
way and
the
close your
kickers get their own badge.
Well, I
eyes.
mean, I think if it was a goalpost, that it would be yellow. I think that number one would be
They're
yellow.
saying that the volume is a little low, so go ahead and turn us a little up, TC. Um, but they said overall it looks good. It says, is there a reason the championship badge doesn't look like the Lombardi? That's a good question because I do in our
I don't
Discord,
think there's a
a
reason.
Diamond said that it looked like um, the 1929 Super Bowl trophy, right? I'm not too sure if that's 100% correct, but that's what I read. Um, I'm 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 confused why it's not the Lombardi, right?
Probably licensing issues would be my guess.
229.
They'd
Yeah,
probably have to pay the NFL to use the likeness of the trophy, so they
yeah,
went with
most,
something that probably doesn't have a license on it anymore, which a 1929 trophy would
yeah.
probably no longer have that.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the 1929 the trophy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But like 1929, I was what? Not even a thought, right? My mom wasn't born.
Yeah, my
So
parents weren't
it's
even
like,
thoughts at that point.
I don't know what this trophy is. It's just a random trophy to me because I didn't know the 1929 trophy. I hope I'm saying that right, and hopefully football was invented in 1929. I'm not too sure.
The first NFL teams were 1923, I believe.
Oh, let's go.
But
Yeah.
the
That's
but the
they
first,
themselves old, aren't they?
yeah, it is. College football started. I want to say in
That was
the
like the late 1800s.
it was like 1880s. Yeah,
Yeah,
Wait, 100 years is coming up.
yeah.
Oh, that would be dope, right? Yeah, that's coming
Yeah.
up. That's gonna
that's that Atlanta math right there.
Yeah.
be
Yeah,
hashtag
football's
college
been
boy.
around a long time, and I knew it was like in the 20s because I know the Steelers started in 1933, and they weren't part of the original group. That that was the Giants and the Bears, um, yeah, a lot of those teams. I can't remember all of them, but it was like 23 or 25. So yeah, we're getting to 100 years. That should be a
Yeah.
pretty cool celebration coming up on that. All right.
All right, boys. So
Any more ideas? Any more thoughts on these badges before we move on?
I don't need no stinking badges.
no.
All right,
I
all
just
right.
want to see improvements, and I want to see changes made swiftly. If they can get these changes made swiftly, they will impress me. Like if they're like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, we've listened to the community and we change like the all day debut badge, right? That I'm locked in at that point, right? Within like a week, that's amazing for me.
I'd agree with that. I mean, if they could do anything, even week, 2 weeks, or even if they just admit like, hey, we messed up, we're gonna go back to the drawing board, and then we'll get some ideas from you guys,
Yeah.
and then come out and bring it out before the season starts. Even that would be, I
Well,
think,
yeah, because
a giant step forward.
they did say that they were going to start like testing things out, and like some things are going to work and some things are not going to work. Right. I'm hoping
Yeah.
that this was a test of the badges, and like maybe they're like, okay, cool. Let's keep some of these and then just change up some of the rest, right? And I mean, we are in closed beta, right? And this is what we're here for. We're here for them to test things out. So
Mhm. Yeah, and I think back to what I said before is I think that you know although they called it an upgrade, it was more an upgrade from their perspective, not
yeah,
necessarily from the user perspective, because theoretically the fact that they get this all under their own umbrella should allow them to add more functionality that we want. It just might take us a little bit more time. you know it maybe it was a little bit of a risk to do it this close to the beginning of the season, but at the same time, when else were they going to do it? It's not something you can try to do
Yeah.
mid-season. So right now marketplace volume is low. There's not a lot happening. So I think they can kind of see what the stress levels for will be as they ramp up and they start to promote. We get some new people in here. Hopefully there's more marketplace activity, and then they can see how their infrastructure holds up against increasing levels of activity, and whatnot. So I mean, at the very least, I think once this is in place, they're going to be, and they took every little bit of critique
yeah,
that we put in the feedback to heart, and they're going to go right back to work and be like, okay, they're right about this, they're right about that. Let's fix this, let's fix that. And so the next time we see the thing go down, I would hope that you could at least look for a 25 to 50% improvement each time they do an upgrade. And if they do an upgrade once per week, okay, we could be 100% better than we were a month before, which I think many of
Yeah.
us would probably be pretty happy with.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know?
Now, speaking of upgrades, right, and everything like that, um, let's talk about cadence, right? I want to talk about cadence and just
Were you making audibles at the line over there or what?
I'm making audibles. I'm making audibles. B-52, B-52.
Touchdown,
and
school bus.
now what? So obviously these past 2 weeks have been pretty slow in the all day streets, right?
Yep.
They've had a lot of ask me anythings, right? And we love those. We love those. And, and I just feel like some some things need to be talked about. So I want Hude to talk first about your experience these past 2 weeks and just what you feel should be changed or should
I
be
mean,
altered.
honestly, yeah, the what is it now? 6 AMAs since last Monday, 5 last week, 1 so far this week. But I've listened to maybe 30 seconds. And I mean, that was even talking Otis's, which I'm not part of the, 8080, so I'm not really in there a whole lot. But even Dave's AMA, like I didn't even hop in that. They don't do anything for me personally. Like if you already know that they're not going to drop anything big and newsworthy, it's kind of like, okay, well, why are we jumping in there? And now it's like on the player side of it, you're getting players that, the one that they had last week with the Rams. I mean, that dude's probably not even going to make it past the second week of training camp. Like,
Right.
no offense to him, he's probably a good guy, but give me Aaron Donald. Give
Right.
me the guy that's going to be flattening him every day in practice, not the guy that's getting flattened.
Yeah.
You know, give us stuff like that. And then apparently the guy that we have, it was either the guy yesterday or the one we're getting later this week. He's not even, he's a USFL player.
Right.
Like why, why are we getting guys like that? You got Chad Johnson who just signed up last week. Try to get him on one. You got Kirk Cousins and Debo, just put out tweets today about how they own moments. Like get them on there.
Yeah.
If they can put out a tweet, you can probably get them for 15, 20 minutes before training camp starts.
Right.
So for me, the AMAs, they either got to get a heck of a lot better or just get rid of them. Like they're not doing anything.
Well, I think, I think the fact that we're getting all these AMAs is a direct result of the pressure from the do something crowd. Those people are just like, we're bored, we got nothing, let's do something. Okay, well, what do we got? Well, we got an AMA, let's do an AMA. So they do 5 AMAs in a week, like, and if they really don't have a whole lot of other options as far as what they can do to have events and build interest, I mean, like even something as simple as those trivia. I miss the trivia, but trivia is fun. Like, I think that's as much of a way to build camaraderie in the community as it is with. It's probably even better than getting in there and listening to somebody talk about mostly things that aren't all day related. And I think the disappointment that a lot of us feel in the AMAs, and I've listened to a few of them. Always can at work, but I've listened to a few of them. And the thing that always disappoints me the most is that there's so little talk about all day itself. Like, tell me, I'd rather hear, if you're going to do this for a half an hour, I'd rather hear 20 minutes of him talking about why he's interested in all day than
25
anything else. I mean?
Like,
right. Yeah. Or his high school football experience or whatever it was. Like, it's cool. Like, yeah, this is great. We get to learn about this guy. But, we're all sitting here as complete and total all day degenerates, right?
Yeah.
Like, we all admit that we have a problem.
We're totally fine with
it. And it comes
challenge.
Yeah, it comes back to my experience when I was doing music reviews on YouTube too. And the point is that the people who were watching my channel, they didn't necessarily care about my opinions. They only wanted their love and their adulation for the music that they loved to be confirmed by you. So they would rather you lie right to their face than tell them what you truly feel, because they want to share in your experience of their favorite thing for the first time. So when we're all sitting there in an AMA, all we want to hear is why they love all day as much as we do. Like, what's your collection? What's your favorite moment? What's the first thing you're going to buy if you haven't bought anything yet? Like, join in our excitement for the platform. So, like, if they're going to keep doing AMAs, like, I want all day degenerate players. Like, if they're not, a big player, I'm okay with that. But if they love all day and they just want to spew how much they love trying to beat SoFlo Hokey to a freaking snipe on OTM, like, okay, you're talking our language, man. We live this every day. So, I mean, I think that should be more of the focus on these AMAs is like, share our fandom. Like, we're here for this reason. 100%. Like, are you here with us? Like, cool, let's hear about it.
So, let me preface just to say that I have no problems with the Ask Me Anything. It's like no problems. I have literally no problems. It's just so like I've listened to some and I've really enjoyed them. Right, I like some of them. Like Dior, right? That was an amazing one. Right, I could feel his passion for all day, and I was like, yeah, get like all day to the moon, Dior, kind of thing. And when I hear like other people, right, just like with no personality, right? I'm not going to name any names, but like I was just like, this is pointless. This is literally a waste of my time, right? I could have done anything else except like just to listen to this person. Yeah. And I just think they hold those as placeholders, right? as like a toss out. Like here, y'all keep asking for this. It's like no, we don't keep asking for this. We like we want movement, right? I would like to have fun, right? I want to do challenges, right? I'm not like I can have fun doing anything basically, right? I'll even have fun doing trivia if I got a couple drinks in me, right? I don't know that much. I don't know that much like a football trivia, but I'm down for it, and I just feel like these past 2 weeks, right? We we were so excited about all these Tuesdays announcements, right? And these announcements came out hot, right? When like AJ's first announced them, we were like, oh yeah, keep doing these, right? Because this is what we want. And then nothing happened like 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? Nothing really happened in that week. It was like the end of the challenge. Then we are like, all right, cool. We just finished a challenge. Nothing's gonna happen this week. And then next week we're like, okay, cool. Maybe they announce a challenge, right? And I think that's when they announced the 5 AMAs. We never need five. We like there's no reason for a 5 AMA week. I just want like if all days listen, there's no reason for it. Just because like 3 is fine, right? Not 5, right? I don't need to see 6 bullet points and then see that each one is an AMA, right? Just do
Yeah.
it all in one so that I'm
Should have
not
actually
like,
been
okay,
one bullet
cool.
point.
Like just one bullet point saying we have 4 AMAs this week, this, and this, right? So I was like, all right, cool. It's fine, right? This week is over. I was so happy when it was Friday and I was like, oh, this is the last AMA. Let's go. Right. So then comes this week, and I'm like, oh, they haven't had anything for the past 2 weeks. They gotta have something this week. So we're sitting there praying. Right, I was praying and everything, and I was like, Jesus, just let me have something this week because I'm bored. I'm bored, right? I was literally bored of all day for like 2 weeks, and it comes, and it's late. No one knows why. It's late. Don't be late if you're gonna do what if you're gonna do don't be late if you're gonna do what you did, right? So like you're 3 hours late because you usually drop around 11, 12, right? You know you drop at 11, 12, right? And then it drops. Marketplace upgrades and one more AMA, right? And I get it, right? They don't have to announce everything. They don't have to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a challenge this week, or there's a pack drop. But they did that for like all the other ones.
Yeah.
So
So
now you go ahead.
I was say like, but I think we set ourselves up for that fall though too. Like
I mean,
we build up these announcements and we come up with every pie in the sky possible, like wishful, hopeful thinking kind of a thing that they could possibly announce. And then when it is what it's been forever, like we're just because we set ourselves up for the fall. Like we see that all the time to where we're just, oh, I want it to be this, maybe it'll be that, maybe it'll be this, and then AJ's typing, oh, this is gonna be great, and then it's the same thing it's been for previous weeks, and we're still in off season and stuff. So I think we are at fault for a lot of that disappointment we feel in what the announcements really are. Because when AJ was asking us too about what we wanted as far as information goes, and do we want something or do we want nothing? And even if they have nothing, would it be okay to say something that they have nothing? And overwhelmingly, the reaction was yes. And so now we're getting something, and because it's nothing, we're still upset.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
we're trying to have our cake and eat it too, and we got to take some responsibility for that.
Well,
I
and
do
my thing
agree.
is like
You go ahead.
if you go through like the closed beta general and see any of the comments after an AMA, you'll see 1,000 negatives and you'll see maybe one or two positives. But then the moderators are only picking out those one or two positives, and
Right.
then they want to respond to people like, "Oh, well, we're getting positive response all the time." And it's like, no, like we can read, like we're not
Yeah,
stupid, like
like I see it. It's not
like
invisible.
we're literally only talking to you through us being able to read and type, so we know what's being said here. Like
Yeah.
nobody's saying all this good stuff like, yeah, give me more AMAs with
Yeah,
that fifth string offensive tackle. Like we if that person like you said, TC, if they can talk about all day and the moments they have or the moments they want to get or how excited they are to start building out their collection, this, that, and the other, by all means. But if you're just going to bring them in, talk to them for 25 minutes about their junior college career and then the 2 years they played at a big school, and then have 5 or 6 minutes of questions, like we don't need that. Like nobody wants that.
And then to your point, TC, I do agree that like a lot of people do like set themselves up for failure, right? But I do also believe that we're also logical human beings, right? To where if it's been 3 weeks, a challenge is coming. You know why? Because they put out a blog saying that a challenge is coming every 2 to 3 weeks. That's funny. It's been 3 weeks, technically 4 because you pushed the challenge back a week. So it's technically been 4 weeks, right? And I remember in Gen Pop, AJ said that she knows what every challenge is already, right? So I'm logical. I'm like, I'm using this, right? And I'm like, there has to be some kind of challenge announcement this Tuesday because that's what she's done, right? For the other challenges, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. I just expect, right? I just expect it. And I'm supposed to have a challenge this week, right? So if I'm going by what you said, right? Well, like not you said, but like what like all day said, right? I'm having a challenge this week and it should be in this Tuesday announcement. So I think that's where a lot of people are like, well, like where is the challenge announcement? Because a lot of people will build up this hope because all day said challenges every 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what my hope was. So, and I'm like, it's technically 4 weeks, but I'm not going to hold y'all to 4 weeks. I'll hold you to 3 weeks. Right.
Yeah.
It's 3 weeks. You usually announce the challenge in the Tuesday announcement, but it wasn't there. Yeah. So, like, what's going on?
What are you thinking on that, Andrew?
Yeah. I mean, you told us a timeline, and it's now been what, a month and a half since we were told that timeline. We were told 2 to 3 weeks twice. Yeah. And neither time after those announcements of 2 or 3 weeks has it been 2 or 3 weeks. It's been a month. Yeah. So, and then I guess, I mean, I can understand why we're not getting one this week with the marketplace update that they just did. Right. You're not going to want to do a gigantic update like that. Then on top of that, throw a challenge right down, 24 hours later. So I understand that. By all means, I get that. But if you knew you were going to drop the marketplace this week, why didn't you do a challenge last week? That's easily could have done something last week,
especially with how quickly they dropped the rewards after the last challenge. They could have popped something out really quick. But at the same time, like I'm still sitting here in summer mode. I'm not, personally, my experience is I'm not bugging out over these lack of announcements or lack of challenges. Right now, I mean, I understand it's different for a lot of people because I'm a single guy. I'm out doing whatever the heck I want. After one of my 86 jobs. Every day, nice. But I do make the most of the spare time I get. So when I do get home and I catch up on on the all day Discord and I catch up at ADU and I see what's going on and at this point, like the summer is never the type of time where I'm all that worried about it anyway. But I understand why you guys are, having families and more time at home and when you are at home, you're just chilling. You need something to do. You got to keep those juices flowing. So I understand that my experience isn't what your experiences are too, but I think you're right that it does have to hit that timeline at least somewhat. If you're going to give a timeline, do every 3 weeks. Like it should be easy enough. But we'll see what kind of possibilities this new marketplace gives them for doing that, and that's really going to be the decider is how well can this new marketplace handle the traffic on single moments that challenges bring. So I would expect one to come shortly after this because if I was them and I was building this, I would want to know what can this infrastructure handle? So I think
Exactly.
I think we're gonna see it soon.
And you got to remember, we have 4 more pack drops still confirmed,
Not
right?
necessarily
Yeah,
drops.
Well, we
not
have
necessarily
four
drops.
more. 4 more
Packs.
moments are coming. Like 4 more pack moments are coming to our. Like I'm like we have a month until preseason, and then after preseason starts, we have another month, so about 64 days.
Hmm.
And I'm like, if you don't have one this week, then like I would like the cadence of one every 2 weeks. It would make sense, right? So like one
Well, yeah,
one here,
pack 1 week, challenge the week after.
exactly.
Pack challenge.
Pack challenge for the rest of until like series. Like I would want all day to have 2 weeks where we don't have anything, just because they'll be gearing up for the drop of series one. Right, I'm fine with 1 week. So if they drop one this week, they'll have challenge next week, and then drop challenge, or like just like it doesn't have to be a pack drop, but just be like an airdrop, which is totally fine too. But like we just haven't seen anything, and I mean in those announcements, I really do hold those announcements as like, okay, cool. Um, they give us something, but like I feel like they used to give us like, oh, we're working on this, right? And like say like just like let us know that, oh yeah, we're working on these like pack drops, or we're working on like getting you guys these like rewards, right? So like
Hmm.
these like Tuesdays announcements, a lot of people look forward to them now because for a while we didn't have anything, right?
Yeah.
So uh, just we're like right now we're like right now like in the dark, kind of again, just because we were like marketplace upgrades and then AMA. And we're like, okay, well, what about all the other stuff you're supposed to be working on? And like what about those?
Yeah. Well, so let's move on from this. I think we've hit a lot of topics on the marketplace side. We do have the Discord community that we are all a part of, and we spend a lot of time in closed beta general at the NFL All Day site. And they have a great team of moderators there, led by the fantastic Miss AJ. Um, we have ADAD at night with Otis, and those are some of the best places to be on all of Discord. But they had some turnover today, and two of the mods are no longer with the company. Now,
Oh,
with us going into the
I didn't know
season,
that.
yeah, there was a little turnover there today. So
Which one?
Zach and Jay have moved on. Um,
Oh,
so
why
they're
did I know that?
I don't know. I'm not totally sure, but it did happen. And so I want to get your guys' take on how do you think that will affect you know the team to bring in two new mods before the going into preseason when you know assumedly you would think you're going to get a lot more engagement and a lot more activity. Do you
Yeah.
do you think a couple new people will be able to jump into fire and manage the zoo there, or is there a chance for some other outcome? What do you think,
Yeah,
Andrew?
I'll take this one first since Ty, you just heard about it, but I think
I'm
it's going to
like,
be it's just definitely going to be unfair to whoever they bring in, and especially if they
it was
do
Nick,
like a
not
one.
Zach, by the way.
Oh, so I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nick.
my bad. It was
Yeah,
Nick.
Nick.
Bad intel. See, we don't know anything.
Yeah, if you're listening, Zach, sorry.
Sorry, Zach.
Uh,
We love you. You're here with us.
but like if they
Sorry.
do a one for one, rehire, it's not going to be fair to the two people that they bring in. Like at this point, they almost need to bring in. They got rid of two, maybe add four.
Right.
For one, if you're trying to build out your community on top of what you already have, you're going to need those extra moderators as is anyway. So
Yeah.
might as well kind of jump the gun a little and go ahead and hire those people. For
Sure.
one, if you get the people that you're expecting you're going to get, you're going to need them anyway. So might as well have them already. If for some reason things don't work out, oh well, you've got a couple extra people that you might not need for a little bit, but it's still probably necessary for the time that we're about to get into in these next 2-3 months.
Yeah, better to do it now than later
Later.
on when the fire's really at their feet. So, yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. I mean, it was certainly surprising news whenever it ticked across, but if I support whatever Dapper feels the move is, if they feel that it's going to strengthen the community and bring us all together and really kind of get it tighter than it already is. And I think that's the best part of AJ and Otis and the now departed Blazer fan, like Zach too. Like, these guys are all solid people. They all do a great job of cultivating the community. And if this move brings in 2 to 4 more of people exactly like them, then I can't think it's anything other than the right move, even if it's going to upset the apple cart temporarily.
Yeah.
No.
Was there like a reason why they left, or were they just left?
We're
No.
not, we don't know any of that. We just know
Okay.
that they're no longer with Dapper anymore. So
Got you.
yeah. So yeah,
I mean, I like the idea of bringing in 2 more plus 1, just because since you already lost 2, you might as well, because we're like gearing up for the start of the season,
Right.
So I would rather be prepared than be like scrambling and like,
Yeah.
oh cool, oh, what are we gonna do? These mods can't really deal with all this pressure kind of thing. So I do know that having less people when you really need more people is one of the most stressful things, right? My job,
Yeah.
right? My job is I answer like service calls, but if they when we have less people than we need, calls get backed up, and you're just overwhelmed to the point to where you're like, oh, I can't do this anymore, kind of thing, And it really does push people. So I think they should be prepared.
And that happens a lot. I mean, that's 100% our experience with AD Unlimited. When we started our Discord, it did not take long before the 9 of us looked around and went, we need help. Hey, who's willing to take on a task here or there? Because it became real clear that even with 9 of us, we had a whole heck of a lot on our plate to even just manage the 120 people that we have in our communities. So, I as long, I think that the experience with bringing on Otis really kind of is the backbone for why this is going to be a good move, because when Otis just is the man. So like all day, all night is absolutely the place to be. All day after dark is absolutely the. I can't even talk right. All day, all night after dark, cup of coffee. I can't keep track of it all. But anyway, ADAD. That's right. But it's ADAD is the spot to be. It's the Otis and AJ's in there all the time, and it's an absolute blast. So, I think if that's the template, if they're going for more people like Otis and AJ, then yeah, there's nowhere to go but up for the official all day Discord. And I just want to say real quick, any of y'all who are picking up on this podcast that aren't a part of AD Unlimited or the NFL all day Discord, head on over there. We've got a link in the description. Go on over into the closed beta general. Get to know AJ, get to know Otis, get to know Zach, get to know all these people. They're awesome. They're there for you, and they're always going to have your back as far as they can. Like, there's not always times where they can say what you want to hear, but they'll take it as far as they can go. So get involved there and become part of a pretty awesome community.
We love it here at ADU.
That's right.
It's definitely one of the best things to ever happen to all day, right?
Are you talking about us or the all
us.
day? Okay.
Yeah. You talk about me, or we're say one more time? I didn't hear you.
We're giving some love to AJ and the closed beta general at this point. That's where we all started, and that's where everybody should start. So I want everybody who's listening that's not a part of the crew already to get in there and be a part of the conversation and let out your inner degen and start buying everything you can on the marketplace like the rest of us.
AJ's in the house.
That's right.
AJ's in
Hi,
the chat.
AJ.
We love that.
What's
Thanks
up,
for
AJ?
stopping in. So, all right. So we're getting towards the end here. Let's get to our last topic of conversation. Baker Mayfield going to Carolina. We got it to a conditional 2024 draft pick. The Carolinas picking up 4.85 million of that salary, I believe. The Browns are picking up the other 10.85. Um, Not a whole lot of a trade there. We got a pending quarterback controversy with Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Carolina's been the number one rumored spot all along, but then
Yeah.
whatever it was last week, you had the leak on the Seattle website where you could buy Baker Mayfield jerseys for like 5 minutes.
That's right.
So I think everybody thought. I mean, in my opinion, Seattle made more sense uh, for Baker. At this point, though, I don't know if we see Baker play another snap in the NFL. Like he's
Ooh, hot take.
they well, if you think about what they got with Darnold and what they gave away to get Darnold, then I get, they Cam Newton played last year, but that was also injury related. I Baker Mayfield's, Johnny Manziel 2.0. Like he's done. I don't see him playing another down.
Ty?
Um, I'm gonna be 100% honest, and I'm not going to make a fool of myself. I don't know enough about the situation to have the words to speak about the situation, and I tend to speak a lot, anyways. So I'm gonna let you take it away, TC.
All right. Well,
Take us home.
Me and Andrew have a particular firsthand experience with Baker, being that we're AFC North rivals. So we've
Okay.
seen a whole heck of a lot of them, and I don't think I'm not as down on Baker as he is. I'm not going to say he's Manziel and he's done, but there's something to be said for him not being able to take that Browns team last year farther than they did. They should have been way better than they were.
Yeah.
He's been the quarterback there for a few years now, and not one of those receivers there. I mean, Odell Beckham's career basically died there. And it's like, what do you have as a quarterback if you can't work with Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham and Peoples Jones, I think, is there too.
Yeah.
He's
And then Joku at tight end.
Joku. Yeah, I mean, you got weapons. Plus, you got Chubb and Kareem Hunt in the backfield, and,
Yeah.
and somehow y'all are 8-8 or 8-9 or 9-8 or whatever that was.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that is definitely an indictment on him. But as far as what kind of comp you're looking at, he's still fairly young. So sometimes people just got to get the heck out of Cleveland.
True. It worked for LeBron.
Cleveland has been a graveyard since Belichick left. Basically, I mean, they've had a couple of good seasons in between there, but for the most part, they haven't been a winning team, as we all know. So, sometimes just a bad organization is a bad organization, and maybe they're less of a bad organization for getting rid of Baker. But then again, they just paid Watson all that money when
Yeah.
who even knows what they're getting there.
Yeah.
So maybe the Browns are still the Browns too, but I don't have a ton of hope for Baker in Carolina, based that especially since he's going from a good team, or what should have been a good team, to a much worse team. Don't think he improves them. Neither does Darnold. So it could be a situation where you just see them shuffling in and out, and you have one replacing the other to do the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Well, plus they drafted Matt Corral, and
yeah, but he's gonna need time.
He'll need time, yeah, But I have a feeling if he does play, it's this final year, and Corral can learn behind Darnold and Baker on how not to be an NFL quarterback.
Right.
Right before we got on, I read a stat that the two of them were the two worst non-rookie quarterbacks last year. And that kind of says a lot. Like your QBR is Baker's was 31 and Darnold was 34, I think.
Right.
And basically anybody that was worse than them was a rookie.
Yeah.
So I mean that kind of says a lot about what they got going on down there in Carolina, and I really just do not have any faith in Baker Mayfield to be able to do anything. I mean, he's gonna have DJ Moore and what?
Is Robbie Anderson still there? Or did he move on?
No, didn't I thought he didn't he change his name, change his number, then like a week later requested a trade or something like that? Wasn't he the guy that did that?
He was in the news, so maybe.
Yeah. And you got Christian McCaffrey who, if he can stay healthy, he can help your quarterback out. But outside of DJ Moore and McCaffrey, what do they got?
I think, they really need to be more careful with McCaffrey. Clearly, he's not a guy who's going to get 20 to 25, 30 touches a game if you're using him in the run game and the pass game. He's just not built that way. But Chuba Hubbard, on the other hand, can be that guy. I liked him at Oklahoma State. I liked him last year, even though he didn't necessarily put up the best stats in McCaffrey's absence. But, I think if, you gave Chuba Hubbard 10 to 15 carries a game, McCaffrey got 10 to 12 carries a game plus 8 to 10 receptions, you're really kind of using him in the way that keeps him away from the big guys that are smashing his body to pieces and, maximizing what he's really good at, which is being good in space. So, take some of those red zone opportunities away from McCaffrey, take some and give them to Hubbard, man. Let him pound the rock inside the one. You could use a lot of 2-back sets with those guys to where, if you're on the 2-yard line or whatever, and you've got both of those guys back there, you're either going to stack the line or you're going to go chase McCaffrey out into the flats somewhere. Either way, you're spreading the defense thin because both of them are going to be a big enough threat in that role that it's going to open up some avenues for both of them.
Somebody go check TC's collection. He's probably got about 20 or 30 Hubbards sitting in there.
I have 0 Hubbards, actually.
You know what's funny? I have 8 of them.
Ah! You're over there. You're over there grinning like a pig and shit while I'm talking like this.
I think I had 1 and then I got rid of it.
I have 8 of them.
Yeah,
he's a part of my a challenge spec that I had. So a while ago, I picked him up a while ago, and then
he's the 3 badge.
Yeah,
I actually
he's the 3 badge rookie, and they have 3 badges for every single conference except Chuba's conference. There's only 1. Well, there's 2. Him and Kyle's Pitts, but Kyle Pitts has a rare and a legendary.
Yeah.
So that was my spec. Y'all wonder.
I own no Carolina Panthers. I have no reason to own any of them right now. So watch them all be in the next channel. They'll all be in the next challenge.
It's like the cheapest team set right now, outside of the Giants.
Yeah. Well,
all right, boys. That was a good pod, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. I think we covered everything as far as we wanted to. Hopefully, we did good. We stayed. The viewers are pretty steady. So I'm guessing we weren't too boring through any of it. So that's good.
Apparently the sound is really is a lot better. So
yeah,
I'm very happy about that. And
I think
we're rolling.
I think I got a sweet spot with that, so that's going to make it considerably easier. If everybody's here, obviously we're going to have our main live podcast coming every Wednesday at 9 Eastern. The next thing beyond that is we're going to start pumping out some conference previews. We'll do one for every division. So we'll have a few of our ADU family in here talking about their prospective teams, and we'll get the firsthand degenerate fan perspective on the prospects for each team in each division, and kind of give our little thoughts on them as well. So stay tuned for those, as well as much other content as we can put out. So thank you guys all for sticking with us. See you guys next week at the absolute latest. And anything else you guys want to say before we sign off?
No, just thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for just watching.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Love our ADU family. We'll see you guys in the chat. We'll see you guys in All Day After Dark after this as well. AJ, thanks for stopping in and saying hello. We love you. And we'll see you guys